Hello and welcome to the Obsidian Show. And today's episode will be an audio blog short, covering the Amazons, female warriors of pseudo-history, or so we thought. For a long time now, the Amazons were long thought to be considered a myth by many. Well, this is no more. Back in 2019, a landmark discovery was unearthed. Archaeologists dug up a tomb with the remains of 4 female warriors buried with a hoard of weapons ranging from arrowheads all the way up to horseback riding equipment. Their tomb was found in western Russia, coincidentally right where the ancient Greeks placed the fabled female Amazonian warriors. For years now, scientists, scholars as well as archaeologists assumed that all warrior graves and tombs containing weapons in western Russia no doubt belonged to male warriors. Well, how wrong they were. In the most recent years, archaeologists and scientists have found that roughly a third of those armed skeletons are indeed female. In fact, roughly 300 women warrior graves have been discovered and more are resurfacing by the year. According to Herodotus, the father of history, the Amazons were an ancient nation of fierce female warriors. Thought to live in Pontus, an old Hellenistic kingdom commonly known as Scythia near the shore of the Euxine Sea, more commonly referred to as the Black Sea in modern times. The Amazons would then go on and form an independent kingdom with a monarchy system of government, with the queen as its head. The Myskira would go on to be named the capital of the kingdom and was located on the banks of the Thermodon River. The Amazons, according to the ancient Greeks, were a race of female warriors, who resided in the region of modern-day Ukraine, and according to Amazonian law, men were forbidden to live together with Amazons, females. However, once a year, the Amazons would visit a nearby tribe called the Gargarians, male version of the Amazons, where they would mate with the males with the sole purpose of creating new warriors as well as continuing the Amazonian race. Once intercourse was finished, the Amazons would then return home, and 9 months later the Amazon, would give birth. All baby girls that were born were kept and bred by Amazonian women to be fierce warriors of battle just as they, while their male counterparts. The Amazonian women would either kill the male newborns, send them to their fathers where the male would be raised to be a Gargarian, or the Amazonian mothers would leave the male newborn in a forest to die either of exposure to the elements, or to be eaten by animals. Talk about tough love, right? Although the Greeks were the most famous for referencing the Amazonian women, other cultures spoke of warrior women nomadic tribes also. Ancient Egypt, Persia, India, as well as China describes the exact same people. The Scythians were an ancient warrior nomad tribe that was known to all. The Scythians had a reputation for being barbarians and raiders who were masters of horseback riding as well as archery and lived across the Eurasian steppe, stretching from the Black Sea all the way to China, from about 700 BC to AD 500. Fun fact: the Great Wall of China was built to keep nomadic tribes from the steppe. The Scythians were a hardcore people. They had a reputation and were known for their excessive amounts of drinking and also smoking on hemp cannabis. Scythians also branded themselves with tattoos as well. Also FYI, they were also mentioned briefly in the Christian Bible, Colossians chapter 3 verse 1. In Scythian societies, women lived like the men and were treated equally because the women would do the same labors as their male counterparts. Labors such as riding, hunting, and learning how to fight. This itself is very unusual for the time. Because during this time women of ancient Greece were not even allowed outside by themselves. Talk about a total culture shock. According to the father of history, the Amazons, also called oiropatas, man-killers, were taken captive by the Greeks and put on board ship where they murdered the crew. However, the Amazons didn't know how to sail, so they floundered until they landed by the cliffs of the Scythians. There they took horses and fought the people. When the Scythians figured out that the warriors they were fighting were women, they resolved to impregnate them and schemed accordingly. The Amazons didn't resist, but encouraged the process, which was complicated by a language barrier. In time, the men wished the women to become their wives, but the Amazons, knowing that they couldn't live within the Scythian patriarchy, insisted the men leave their native land. The men obliged and a new land was set up. These people became the Sauromatae, who spoke a version of Scythian adapted by the Amazons. Herodotus Histories. If you enjoyed this podcast short, then hit the like button and subscribe for more content such as this. Thanks and goodbye.